journaling, something that can be really beneficial is to reflect and look at different forms of testimonials you've received in the past. So if anyone's ever emailed you, complimented you, left you a DM or a comment, and just something with really kind words, that should really reflect the impact that you're making. So I think this is a great place to start, and it's difficult, but I think the core of your brand messaging, it wants to have a depth, and it wants to feel true to you, and that's where understanding your vision is so important. So I think a great place to start is potentially journaling, or I'm a talker, so even just kind of talking it out, leaving a voice note or whatever works for you, or just going on a walk in silence. Obviously, I'm a big fan of listening to podcasts, listen to this podcast, but maybe you go headphoneless walk around your neighborhood and just see what comes to you. And this doesn't have to be something you figure out overnight, but I do think it's something that you can refine that will give your brand a sense of depth. So start there. Part 2, let's define your brand in a few words. And the reason I love doing this is because it kind of simplifies it a little bit. So we just went really deep, and now I want to go kind of shallow, but it's really impactful. So first, I like to think about, what is my brand if I was to really narrow it down to 5 descriptive words, because it helps to maintain clarity and consistency. So as I, talk about with goal setting, I always say, what is your version of success? And that gives you the compass to decide if something is a yes or a no, because you can say, is this moving me towards my version of success or away? When it comes to these 5 descriptors, these 5 words, you can have that same clarity in yourself. And every time you create a piece of content, you develop your website, you post a blog post, you can say, does this fit in with the 5 words, 3 words, 6 words? I'm not going to really limit it, but you want to have a minimal words. Does it fit in with those? And if it doesn't, how can I tweak it so that it does? If one of your words, for me, I definitely want to be educational, but I also want to be relatable. And so I think something that wouldn't fit is if all of a sudden I was just sending out all these extremely high level articles that you had to have, subscriptions to these crazy sites to get access to, and they were really long and really in depth. And the reason that's, yes, it's educational, but it's not necessarily relatable, because you might not have a subscription to the sites to see these things. They might be really long, so who has time to, delve into all of that? That's just the example that came to mind, but it is helpful. So think about the words you want to describe your brand. I should have a list, and to kind of get you started, there's a list in that attachment I sent, but also ChatGPT is really helpful for this if you just want to say, give me a list of 50 adjectives, because I know sometimes it's hard to pull the right ones kind of just out of thin air, and so it's helpful to have a place to start.